So, by popular demand, I came out with a brisket video. And for those of you who don't want to wait and want me to get right to the point, I cooked this hot and fast at 400 degrees for about 4 hours, let it rest for 2 hours, then sliced it up. If you want to see step-by-step details, go to the 30-second mark and I'll give it to you. Any comments, questions, concerns, go ahead and post below, and any links that are necessary is posted below. Thanks. So today we're going to do brisket. This is my first brisket video, and I had to make sure I got it right before I did a video on it. Now, most people do their briskets low and slow because that's the traditional way of doing it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do one that's hot and fast. Hot and fast, that means that we're going to go at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's probably going to take us about 4 hours to do with a 15-pound brisket. So what you need to do is go ahead and trim your brisket up however you want to. Right now I got my fat side down. The recommended trimming for the fat is about 1/4 of an inch, but I usually leave less than that just because I don't like the fat. And if you use this method, it's not going to dry out. So after you got it trimmed up, you want to go ahead and put some kosher salt on there. Go ahead and salt it up, wrap it in some saran wrap, and let it sit for, total is going to probably sit between 24 and 48 hours. I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for about 24 hours. Then I'm going to put my rub on it. It's going to be a big bad beef rub, and I'll have the link to it in the video. If you don't want to make your own big bad beef rub, you can also use what they use in Texas, a Dalmatian rub, which is equal part salt, equal part pepper, but we'll go ahead and worry about that later. I'm going to go ahead and salt this up and let it sit in the refrigerator. Again, the salt is going to start to break down those fibers and everything on the inside of it. And again, as with all my other videos, I'm not taking credit for it. I just find different things on the web, and I just bring it to you guys, whatever I feel has worked good. After we salt this up, we're going to go ahead, like I say, about a day from now, I'm going to go ahead and put my regular rub on it, wrap it back up, and then we'll be ready in the morning. Total process is probably going to take about, well, from cook to time to eat, probably going to take about 6 hours or so. About 4 hours to cook it. Then we're going to wrap it in towels and put it in a cooler. Let that sit for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and then we'll be ready to slice it. See you guys later. So it's been 24 hours, and I've just taken this brisket out of the refrigerator. It's been salting for a day, and it is evening time. I'm going to go ahead and put the big bad beef rub on and let it sit for another 12 hours or so, 14 hours, and I'm going to cook it in the morning. Just as a recap, what I did, went ahead and got a brisket. This is a 14.5 pound prime brisket. I've trimmed the fat off, a lot of it, and I have put kosher salt all over it and let it sit in the refrigerator for a day. Now, what I'm going to do for this cook, I'm going to cook this at 400 degrees for about 4 hours. This recipe is for a 15-pound brisket, so if yours is less, it'll take less time, and if it's greater, it'll be more time. After we do that, we're going to wrap it, and I'm going to show you this tomorrow, or I'm going to show it to you later when I'm actually cooking this. But we're going to cook it at 400 degrees. We're going to get the bark how we like it. Once we get the bark how we like it, then we'll wrap it, and we'll finish it up to our temperature. Then we will wrap it again in some towels, put it in a cooler, let it rest for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and then we'll be done. The rub that I'm going to be using is called Big Bad Beef Rub. I got it from a website called AmazingRibs.com, and I'm going to put a link in the description to the recipe so you can go ahead and make it yourself. So right now I'm going to go ahead and start my seasoning. What you want to do, you want to season this all over. Not just top and bottom, but on the sides and everything like that. I'm going to go ahead and get some gloves on while I'm handling the meat. And again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and season this on every side that I can. Everywhere I see meat, go ahead and put this rub on it. It's going to be a big contributing factor in this bark and how good it's going to be. So yeah, it's morning time, and I just got the brisket out the refrigerator. At this point, I'm waiting on my fire to get hot. I'm going to get it up to 400 degrees. Then I'm going to put the meat on. So this is what it looks like. I was going to go ahead and put some more of this Big Bad Beef Rub on. You probably don't really need it, but it can't hurt. So I'll probably do half my briskets on my Vision grill, ceramic, and half of them on my Silverback pellet grill. Today I'm going to be doing my pellet grill. Just waiting on it to get up to temp. It's at 215 degrees. I'm going to let it get up to 400. Then I'm going to let it sit there for a while. Full of pellets. I got a competition grade pellet. A mix. It's about 3 different types of pellets put together, and we'll go ahead and put that brisket on, and we'll be ready to go. Alright, so I got my temperature. It looked like it's about 430 degrees, so it overshot a little bit. It'll get back down to that 400. So I'm just going to let it sit here for probably about 20 to 30 minutes, let the temperature stabilize, and then I'll put it in there. In the meantime, while you're waiting, what I did, I made a Spritz solution. I got 1/3 cup of apple juice, 1/3 cup of beef broth, and 2/3 cups of water. I went on ahead and mixed this together, and what I plan on doing, I plan on spritzing this meat about every hour for the first 2 to 3 hours, just to keep it moist and to add some flavor, a little bit more flavor to it. What we're going to do here, we're going to put the meat on, put the thermometer in there, and spritz this about every hour. And we're going to check it after about 2 hours. We'll check it probably every 15-30 minutes, see if that bark is how we like it, and I'll let you know what that bark's supposed to look like or feel like, but it's going to be up to you. Once you get that bark the way you want it, we're going to go in and wrap it in a heavy-duty aluminum foil and finish it off. We're looking at a target temperature of around 208 to 212 degrees. It's a little bit higher than on a low and slow. I think low and slow we're looking at 203 maybe. Just going to be a little bit higher just because of the speed in which we're doing it. But believe me, it's still going to come out to be good. See that temperature coming down some? So like I say, just let it sit here another 20 minutes, let it stabilize, then we'll put that meat on and we'll be ready. Alright, it's time to spritz this. I'm going to go ahead and give it another spritz. And the bark is almost it's almost finished. It's pretty much settled in. It's not moving at all, so give it another about 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it. Once I wrap it, we're gonna take it up to about 210 degrees or so. But it's not really temperature. When it gets to about 208, 209, we'll come out and we'll start probing it for tenderness. And when that probe come out like butter, then you know it's about that time. Alright, so it's been cooking for about 2.5 hours. Bark is about where I want it to be for right now. It's still going to get a little bit darker after I wrap it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it in at least a double layer of foil. And once I wrap it, put it back in there, I'm going to go ahead and drop the temperature a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and drop it down to about 275 or so. And we'll let it get to about 200, probably about 203 or so. Start probing it and see how tender it is. So I got my temperature. Temperature is about 207. So I'm going to be probing this meat at different spots. Let me see what we got. We got some temperatures a little higher than others. But again, we're going to go by tenderness, not just the temperature. I got quite a few spots that's coming in tender. But there's a couple that still got some resistance in it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it another 10 minutes. Come on back out. And see if it's ready. So I've taken the brisket off, wrapped it in towel, and then put it in a cooler with towels and put towels on top of it. Now I'm just going to hold it, go ahead and keep it in here for about an hour and a half, and then I'm going to kind of vent it for about 30 minutes, and then we should be ready to slice. So I put the brisket in the cooler and let it rest for about an hour and a half. Then for about a half hour I took it out and I got it vented some. So again, I had the brisket wrapped in foil, at least a double layer of heavy duty foil. Then I wrapped it in a towel and then I went on ahead and put it in the cooler. So now, go ahead and unwrap this. I'm gonna place it on my cutting board. So here we go. Let's go ahead and slice it. See what we got here. And here's the brisket. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but nice and juicy there. All right.